kind of my thing. I mean, it always has been. And
Where is your favorite trail to run in Tucson?
ooh, it is a toss-up between phone line and I love a good little out and back on Cactus Forest Trail.
Is there a best hallucination or best runner's high? Is it the same thing?
I get runner's high all the time. The kind of when I start getting past that 40-mile mark, and so right now it's to the point where I hear voices. So I don't know what they're saying yet. Maybe I have to quit running longer to find out. But
Anyone's voice in particular?
nobody's voice in particular. It's just sort of random voices that sound like they're coming from behind me. And so I will.
Does it spur you on?
It does a little bit. So I'm thinking, well, what's that? And I'll turn around to see if there's somebody back there. I'm so confused.
Is it distinct enough that it's man or female? Male or female?
Just whispers at this point. However, whenever May last year, May of last year, Memorial Day weekend, the Grand Canyon Park opened just for the weekend on like a trial basis. You know, limited people could get in. And so my friend Leanda and I decided,
Leanda Cave?
yeah, absolutely on a whim, absolutely not trained or ready to do it at all, decided we're gonna run rim to rim to rim. And we did it all in one day. And so that was my first technically ultra distance run. So that's 42, 43 miles that we did. And very distinctly around, even that one, around the 35-mile mark, she kind of fallen back a bit. I will say that, yes. World champion fell back a bit. Take that, Leanda. And so she said, just go on. You know, I'll just walk a bit. I'll be there soon. And I'm running along, nobody else around. And I swore to God that I heard her and her breathing running up behind me. And I thought, holy crap, she's got a second wind. She's coming up, she's gonna come back and run with me. Kept turning around, nothing there, nothing there. But I swore, probably 10 times I turned around thinking, oh, here she comes. Oh yeah, and you'd ask me if I'd pick up some new sponsors. I did pick up one new sponsor, Tagala, the lighting company. And they make this really cool sort of like strip lighting that you can attach to your waist that basically is like lighting up the trail for you like you would have a set of car headlamps, which is perfect for me because I don't see very well anyway. I mean, I've got prescription glasses on right now as it is.
And you wear it on your waist? You wear it on your waist?
Yep, wear it on your waist and it lights up everything. And so
How many hours?
it can go, they've got several different battery packs and it's obviously built for ultra running where, I mean, you can get some of these 100-mile runs in and without having to worry about charging it. That has opened up possibilities for me to even think about doing some of these 100-mile races or maybe even longer. I kind of ruled them out because I thought, you know, I don't see that well as it is, let alone trying to see well at night. Good, I mean, reasonably, what I could see would be a good 20 feet ahead.
Okay.
And then beyond, so you can kind of see, obviously you got to deal sometimes with tree branches and knowing where a turn is coming up ahead of time. So having that more peripheral lighting as opposed to maybe just a spotlight in front of you is huge for me.
Right, and it keeps the weight out of your hands and keeps your hands free.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's neat. And the weight's not on your head either, which is
Correct.
such a big one.
Yep.
Speed, but I totally get the whole endurance part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been putting in 24 to 36 hour endeavors in.
Yeah.
Longest ride now is 337. Solid day in the saddle, day and a half. Kind of intrigued by how far can the body go?
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by how far can I push it, and then kind of the points along the way that sort of mentally and physically go through, and then how you can break through that, you know, each time. Yeah, I was used to it in triathlon. I kind of knew when I would struggle a bit or where I might hit a wall, but this is push it out even further, and now I have multiple time periods or points where it looks dark and grim, and you realize that and go, okay, all right, how can I, you know, kind of pull myself out of this? How can I get myself happy again? How can I, you know, get back into my groove? And so just the different tricks and tips and stuff that you can learn along the way.
What are your tricks? Give me some tricks.
First and foremost is acknowledging that this was going to happen. That you were going to hit a low point at some point, you know? Sometimes people fight it too much and don't embrace it, and they just spend all their energy fighting it. And it's going to happen. It happens to all of us, no matter how good you are, how slow you're going. It happens to all of us. And so acknowledgement is first and foremost. So once you do that, then you go, okay, I said this was going to happen. I knew this would happen. Now, maybe I need to eat something, or maybe I need to drink something. So you go that route. And make sure that you're kind of happy and fed, and you got calories in you. So that's the next part that I go through. And then I just like to do a little kind of body check. I start from the top, start at the head, and go, okay, am I looking down at the ground? Well, stop doing that. Get your head up. Look around. Look, my God, look at these mountains. Look at these trees. Look at all this. You know, so make yourself aware of your surroundings and what else is going on other than maybe, okay, yeah, my legs are tired. Maybe it's getting a little old. You know, avert your attention to something else. So do that. And then from there, it's just kind of relaxing stuff. So are my shoulders all tense? That's the next thing that most people do. All right, let's get the shoulders out of the ears. Let's relax the arms a little bit. Let's have some fun with this. This is fun, right? This is fun. And I just kind of work my way all the way down my body until, you know, you've kind of passed through that little wave. You're feeling better. The calories are hit, and now you're back into it. Let's go and have some fun.
All right.
And and I might have to go through that several times. There is. Sometimes you bring in, if you've got other people out there on the trail with you, if they've passed you or you're passing them, give them a little, you know, kudos and, hey, we got this. And all that stuff kind of rolls into it and just makes the experience better and more fun and more memorable. And that's what I'm after.
So do the other people on the trail spur you on, or is it more of you're in your own little world the whole time?
Nah, all the people on the trail spur me on, and it's funny how I remember, you know, just kind of odd details, random details about almost every person, whether it was, you know, the color of their shoes, or, you know, I don't know, whatever, just random stuff that I remember, or what we said to each other, or, I mean, I tend to run, especially when I race, I have a little baby Yoda plush toy that's in my trail pack, a little baby Yoda to make people happy.
Right.
So there's usually a may the force be with you exchanged, or, you know, God, even grown men will kind of squeal and go, oh, baby Yoda, you know? So that brings a little bit of laughter and, yeah, reminds everybody why we're out here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any mantras that like keep you going, or thoughts that are particular ones that make miles just disappear?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of, you know, sayings. It's, you know, I'll say to myself, you know, I can do this and I will do this. And I'll just repeat that over and over. And I will say that a lot of times too, kind of the rhythm of my foot strike in my cadence. I can do this, I will do this, I can do this, I will do this, I can do this, I will do this. Shoot, I'll say it out loud if I have to. Most of the time it's in my head, but whatever it takes. So that's an actual mantra that I'll say to myself, but overall it's the rhythm. It's just hearing that, you know, tapping of my feet on the ground and the gravel crunching underneath my feet. Just getting into that rhythm, and that kind of gets me in the zone.
So, Mr. Roberts, good man behind every woman.
Yes.
How is John? I mean, he has a competitive history too.
Yep.
A little slight competitive side to him, just a bit. How has that impacted who you are now as a runner and as an athlete?
Oh, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without him. I mean, he's been absolute rock behind everything, any of the racing endeavors that I've decided I want to embark on. He's always behind it 100%. He's always, you know, doing research and checking in on things and getting things set up for me, and just in general, just being there for anything that I ask him to do. So, and this has been kind of a fun, because he likes to mountain bike as well, so now he can come out and ride alongside me while I run.
So he's out there for most of these runs now?
You know, he'll do a lot of them. Staying on the trail, and if they allow mountain bikes,
right,
he'll come out. Especially, it's been great for some of the much longer runs I'll do. If I'm doing a 30-mile run or 35-mile run, it's been great to have him out there for just swapping water, right, and food for me.
Did he keep up on the climbs?
No, but I can't keep up on the downhill, so
of course,
we balance each other out.
Sponsors and things like that, has he really then been helpful in creating some of those and managing you as I mean, you are a brand. Yeah.
He's been great with that, because I'm horrible at sort of tooting my own horn. I don't like to talk about myself a whole lot unless people ask. And so, of course, he's willing to go right on out there and say everything that I've done, all my accomplishments, and why they should probably bring me on board. So that's been great to have.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that said, you saying you don't like to talk, I greatly appreciate that you're taking so much time to hang out today, and probably should talk about the reason we're here, or one of them. Run Tucson is currently doing the TMC Trail Challenge, and the idea is to encourage people to get out, explore their community, build community, but do it in a safe way with COVID. So, do you participate in the shorter runs that they do?
Yes. I would actually say technically my first trail race that I ever did was their trail race out at Old Tucson Studios a couple years ago.
And that's what the TMC Trail Run is replacing right now.
Yep.
It was just because it's been so challenging. So that's cool.
Yeah. And you know, honestly, it was because of COVID and triathlon races that I was planning to do being canceled, and my sort of interest in pivoting to ultra trail running anyway, that I decided last year to make a pretty hard pivot. And all right, I think this is the time to do it. If I'm going to do it, let's do it. And so I pivoted pretty hard in the spring last year and decided I'm going to go trail running. And we're living in Tucson for 21 years now. I'm amazed at how many places I have not seen while running by getting out there onto the trails. And so it has really opened my eyes to, even how more spectacular we live is.
What is your most memorable, scary, amazing experience running into wildlife?
That will have to be running into a very angry rattlesnake about 28 miles into the Grand Canyon on my rim to rim run with my friend Leanda, in which I came around a corner around a rock. He was right there in the middle of the trail. She was running right behind me at the time, and I kid you not, I heard it rattle and pulled off full-on matrix move. I changed directions midair to avoid this rattlesnake. She had to come to a scream screeching halt because there was no way it was going to let her go by. And she had to kind of scurry up this rocky little hill to get around it because it was holding its stance in the middle of the trail. And it was at that point that I realized that what would we do if one of us were to get bit by a rattlesnake in the bottom of the Grand Canyon? What do we do? And I thought, I probably need to be a bit more educated about these kind of things and a bit more prepared for something like that to happen. Because you can kind of get carried away with where you're at and what you're doing and forget that you're kind of out there sharing this place with a lot of other things. So that was probably the scariest as far as how realistic it could have been that we could have been in a lot of trouble.
So has that led you to take any first responder backcountry educational classes?
Yeah, I am looking at doing that when those kind of things sort of come around again. Right now I've been more so just sort of looking at stuff. My husband has taken like a wildlife survival. He's got certification for that, so he's obviously been telling me everything he learned in that.
So what's on the run schedule right now? You just came in second in what race?
Black Canyon 100K.
Where is that?
It's up in Black Canyon, so it runs from, we started in Mayer, Arizona, which is right on Prescott, and headed straight south on the Black Canyon Trail and finished just kind of outside of Anthem, basically.
Okay.
Beautiful trail. I mean, it's, again, one of those things where 21 years I've been in this state, never, and how many times I've driven up to Flagstaff, I always thinking, wow, it's really pretty over there when you drive through the canyon. Never have taken the time to explore it. And man, I'm regretting that because that's gorgeous out there.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
And that's what ties back into the whole Run Tucson is that we have such an amazing place to explore. And it doesn't matter if it's an ultra endurance run and you're, one of the best in field, or if you are simply just someone getting out to explore nature. It's available to all of us. And with COVID, it's just such a treat. And
yeah, it's eye-opening. I think the one kind of refreshing thing too about hitting more trails is that it's a totally different pace as well. So just kind of throwing out all your, typical, grounded notions about how fast you should be running or how long it should take you. Well, you should plan for it. Still, it's kind of refreshing to go, wow.
All right. So what was our pace there? Because that felt...
About 8-minute pace, I think. Yeah, but probably faster on some of the other portions, but that lasted a bit. 8-minute pace.
Yeah, 8 minutes. And is that's just a casual? This is casual today.
Yeah, casual today.
Casual today.
Yeah.
All right. So, a big part, I think, of any physical endurance is the recovery.
Yes.
Post coffee or beer or whatever it might be. What do you do as far as stretching, massages, post activity recovery?
Yeah, I mean, I love a good, long, somewhat painful massage. Nothing better than a little bit of suffering, a little bit of hurt so good feeling, and just really let the massage therapist kind of dig on into those really sore areas. So head to toe, everything gets worked over a bit. And I try to do that, although it's been a little bit odd in the last year or so, I try to do that actually fairly regularly, going between massages. Anything up to, I've had at this point up to a 2-hour massage,
Okay.
Which is incredible.
Who do you go to?
I go to actually a couple different people. There's one lady named Melissa Hardigan I've gone to see, and then another lady called, her name is Beth Dixon, and she does some osteopathy massage. So she gets up, most of that's with her feet, so she can really get a lot of pressure, a lot of surface area with her feet. So she stands on top of you and holds onto bars above her and can really dig in there. So,
Nice.
Yeah, it's all about the suffering.
Is Melissa a cyclist, mountain biker?
She does do mountain biking.
Yeah, I know Melissa.
Yep.
Great.
She can really dig in there too. Don't ever tell her, is that all you got? Don't ever ask that question.
Yeah, I made that mistake last week with Shelly. It was actually it wasn't a mistake at all.
Yeah.
It was the hardest 3-hour workout I've had in some time. It was a massage.
yeah, exactly.
Wiped me out.
Yeah.
And then
stretching or yoga?
Not as much as I should, actually. I've tried to do a bit more of that, even in the last year, just because it's super important. I notice whenever I do some regular stretching and yoga, that I feel so much better. Just overall, everything just works a little bit better. All the joints are a little bit more flexible and ready to go, and that can help actually kind of stem off or avert any potential injuries or strains along the way. And then always, nutrition-wise is the biggest thing to help keep things running normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
In nutrition while running, what are you fueling your body with?
I'm still experimenting a lot with that, especially getting into some of these longer distances where my usual kind of standard, maybe a gel or something like that might suffice. In these longer distances, having something that's maybe a little bit more solid, and I'll do maybe some rice cakes with peanut butter and jelly in it. I'll do that. I've made myself some a version of a fig bar, like a fig and date bar. I'll eat those as well. And then I'm kind of looking forward to maybe some of the longer, getting up to maybe 100-mile or 200-mile runs where now we're getting to pizza.
Do you have any short-term plans right now as far as pushing yourself?
Yeah, so I'm looking toward the month of March, once I get recovered from this last race, to really explore some more trails and see how much vertical I can cover in the month of March. So anything that's super steep, super fun, rocky, whatever it might be, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna give it a go. So I'll be exploring some even more new trails around town.
Are you happier running uphill than downhill?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So no Mount Lemon marathon this weekend?
No.
Is that crazy?
That's a little bit crazy.
I mean, it's funny how every one of us sees a different level of craziness. To me,
yeah,
that is the craziest thing. Running on the road, down 26 miles. My back and knees were hurting watching people train last week.
Yes.
Just mentally, I'll go out and ride 24 hours. I'm good.
Yes.
But it's funny how each one of us has our own little
our own little line in the sand.
Running down a road. No, why? It's so awesome.
All right, so you're planning on climbing as many feet as possible in March.
Yep.
Is there a number that you're looking to hit?
Oh, I haven't set that number yet. No idea how much I want to do. Do I want to try to get to 6 figures in feet?
You want to, but
I know. Is that possible? I don't know. 25,000 feet a week? Is that possible?
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Because Blackett's is 2,500 feet.
2,500 feet for Blackett's, I believe. I don't know. I've never run Blackett's.
You've never run Blackett's?
I've never run Blackett's. 21 years I've lived in this town. I've never run Blackett's.
You've hiked it?
No, never. I've never been up to the top of it.
Your favorite run is Phone Line,
yes.
You said earlier.
And I've never made that little right-hand turn off onto Blackett's. I'm probably going to be shunned from the running community for saying that. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I've never. So that's number one. That's the first run I'm going to do for my vertical challenge. March 1, we'll go up Blackett's.
So this brings up a really awesome point about the TMC Trail Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Is you've lived in Tucson 21 years, and you run, I'm just guessing, a couple 100 miles a year, maybe a couple thousand.
A few, give or take.
I mean, 4,000 or 5,000 miles? More.
Oh, more than that. I'm usually around 80 to 100 miles a week at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 5,000 miles a year.
5,000 miles a year.
Okay. Yeah, about what I ride.
Yeah.
So a little more. And you're still exploring some of the most popular trails that you've
Yes.
been.
Yes. It's amazing how we can get so set in our ways with our usual kind of trails or routes, and just even that simple thing. How many times have I run Phone Line, but I haven't made that little bitty turn to go up Blackett's and make that part of the run. So that will be part of the very first run that I do.
So when you do Phone Line, do you go up to Hutch's and
I've done that a few times. Yeah, I've done the whole kind of Bear Canyon loop from the other way around and come back on Phone Line sometimes. I have yet to do it the other way around.
You've been up to Romero pools?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Romero one of the steepest trails? In my mind, every time I go up there, it just seems like I get mental picture that it's just not that bad. And for me, that's the mental, I don't think it's that bad. And then every time I'm like, this thing is so up.
I get the same thing whenever I do that too. Yeah, it's got to be up there.
Yeah.
I mean, Finger Rock's pretty steep as well, but Yeah.
What do you think is the most challenging trail for you personally?
I just Finger Rock for me. Mentally, it was one of the first trails that I think I hiked when I moved to Tucson, and it kicked my butt. And so ever since then, it's kind of been that literally looming above me. I can look at it every day, and I see that Finger Rock stick in there, and it's calling to me to come out there and to really kind of go out there and kind of maybe have a good run / power hike up that. So that will be part of my vertical challenge as well, is getting up there maybe several times on Finger Rock.
How do you explore or find the new trails?
Actually what I use, my watch has a heat map portion to its app, and so you can, anywhere in the world that I'm at. So it's a Sunto watch. Sunto.
Are they sponsored?
Yep, they've been a sponsor of mine for a few years.
Okay.
And they have a heat map part to their app, and so you can, wherever you're at in the world, you can toggle it based on if you want to mountain bike, if you want to hike, if you want to run, if you want to trail run. And you can toggle that, and you can see based on like how popular trails are. Obviously, they're going to be more of a hotter, sort of reddish, yellowish color, and so that's how I choose some of the trails that I want to go do. I'm like, oh, this one looks pretty interesting. I haven't been here. It looks pretty popular. Let's go check it out. So,
and that's also GPS. So you're tracking everything through that watch.
Through that watch, yeah. And it tells you, the good thing about that is that you can draw your own trail in it. And so you can get a good idea of, okay, how much vertical is going to be on this? How long is this? So you can gauge your time better, how long it might take you out there, how much food you might need to take, and things like that. So that's really good for planning purposes. Yeah.
Well, that's a great advice. Yeah, I use trail forks.
Yeah, that's great.
That's kind of the way that I've been using, just to look around, just to see where we haven't been. Yep. Plus, they've got right now the different colors for what's closed, which
that's really helpful.
Yeah, especially with the Catalina.
Yeah, I've gotten caught a couple times on the Catalinas with closed trails.
Yeah. So safety first. You're out there.
Yeah.
I don't mean that personally about you. I think you're actually very grounded. Quite enjoyed our conversation. Being out 8, 10, 12 miles in the middle of nowhere, how are you going to call it, like that rattlesnake experience that you mentioned? What happens if something bad goes down? How are you tracking yourself or letting John and the rest of us know to come get you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first it starts with just letting people know what you're doing, and at least some relative times that they should expect to either hear from you or see you. So having that kind of set in place is first and foremost. If I get to a spot where I know I'll have my phone with me, and so if I've got cell coverage, I will use that, and I check in along the way, typically with my husband, let him know everything's okay, or let him know, I'm kind of slow today, I'll be a little bit behind. And then if I'm really going to get way out there and might be out there for, maybe a day or so at a time, I've got like a little satellite way that I can send John or any family member a link to where I'm at, and they can literally track me. So it will send a signal up, every, whatever interval you want. And
does the watch have that? Does your watch?
The watch actually does. So if he could log into my account, he's got the same app on his phone and log into it, and he can actually see my little dot where I'm at on the map too.
Okay.
So we actually have, so there's several kind of lines of attack there, just in case one of them goes down for some reason. We've got some backups as well, because safety is definitely first when you're out there.
Is there an emergency button that you have on that one to send out a
Yes, so there is an SOS feature on that. So
SOS.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which will actually
get the helicopter.
Yes.
Get the twirly bird.
Yeah. So that is very much so a
Do you know how much you pay if the helicopter comes?
Oh no, I don't want to find out how much.
Nothing.
What, really?
Search and rescue is free. At least in the national, I'm almost 28%, but closer to probably 98% sure that search and rescue, if you have an emergency in the national, at least the Department of Agriculture and the foothills, I believe there is no cost associated. That's just part of what search and rescue does.
Well, that's good to know, because that's the last thing you want to have to
worry, am I
gonna
yourself. Do I want to have this huge cost of a search and rescue coming out? No, but it's important that if you need it, they're coming for you, and it's nice to know that someone's coming and that we have the technology that allows us to be able to say that.
Yeah.
So let me stay hand for a second.
Yeah, it's getting much better now.
So that was in the Black Canyon. You kind of had a little tumble.
Yeah, I wrestled with a rock and the rock won.
Okay.
Yeah.
I fought the rock and the rock won. So does that actually fuel you though?
It does a little bit, yeah. I mean, that instantaneous sort of shot of adrenaline of, oh my God, I just went down, I hurt myself maybe, but so that kind of gets you going. But this one smarted a bit, because I hip checked a rock pretty good on that, and there was a guy right behind me, and I kind of stopped for a second and said, just go ahead, I'm going to walk this off for a few steps and compose myself before I get going running again. But then once you get going again, you're like, okay, yeah, I got this. And there's blood streaming down my hands, and I can feel it sort of streaming down my arm. Like, yeah, this is great.
And when John sees you like that, is he like, oh, that's my wife?
Like,
God.
Oh my God, are you okay? Do I need to wipe you up? Like, no, we're good. Yeah, let me go. Yeah.
I love it. Closing thoughts? Closing thoughts? Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
No, just that it's completely eye-opening to be able to get out there and explore areas of your hometown or your home area that you've never seen before. And so I highly recommend doing it, and I hope that I see you guys out there.
So get out, TMC Trail Challenge. Are you registered, by the way?
I am registered, yes.
All right. And you know about the photo contest now.
Wait, what?
So take photos, tag, hashtag TMC Trail Challenge,
Okay.
either on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
There are 5 categories.
Okay.
And the prizes, Union Public House, Reforma, or Proof.
Yeah.
Gift cards for each category. As well as, and this is the first I'm announcing this, a photo shoot, trail photo shoot with Damian Alexander of the Damian Alexander team. So if you like, those photos of you running, doing what you love, submit your photos.
Awesome. Oh, I'm in. This is great.
And this is sponsored by the Tucson Photography Festival, which is going to be having their inaugural festival next spring, as soon as we get through COVID.
Excellent.
And that is going to be produced and promoted by myself and my son Samuel Alexander, who's a creative photography major at the U of A.
Yes.
And I said, what do you want to do when you graduate? And he's like, let's do a photography festival. So,
Oh, I can't wait.
yep. All right. Tag it, hashtag TMC Trail Challenge.